Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. We're also brought to you by the Golf Gambling Podcast's tailor-made Stealth 2 driver giveaway. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com driver to enter today before the big draw on April the 8th. And we're brought to you by Baseball Money is Fake, our fantasy baseball podcast. Join Blake and Ryan 3 times a week to get all the player breakdowns and statistical data you'll need to dominate. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday. Oh, I'm in trouble, Baz. April the 6th.
Yeah.
Yes, come on. And we are here to have a look at a full slate, 10 matches, Premier League games over Saturday and Sunday. Everyone's playing in the 2 days, so lots of condensed action, which is fun. On the 8th and the 9th of April, and you've already heard him, so I'll introduce him. The man who knows what date it is, it's Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Baz.
Evening, Malcolm. You all right?
No, not especially.
You don't sound all right.
Do I not?
No, you can tell you've been being naughty on a school night, drinking and all that.
I've been very tired and emotional today, Baz, shall we say, which is generally code for hungover. Hungover is a small family of otters. Yeah, I went out on a Wednesday. Who goes out on a Wednesday?
I was out last night. I went out to watch a Newcastle match.
Yes.
Had a few beers, had a late one, and I feel surprisingly fresh today. So
I'm better than I have been. You've seen me in the past, and I've been turning myself inside out, but I've just been sleepy today. And I mean, you know me, Baz. I'm a grafter. That's what people say about me. But I've had too much to do. I had an article to write for the baseball, which was due in yesterday, and I completely forgot about it. I didn't do it. Adam was listening to that. I didn't completely forget about it. I used whatever excuse I told you. And then I had to do that, and then I had to prep this show, and then I had to prep the MLB show, which will be live in about 90 minutes from now. So I've been as busy as snakes, Baz, and all of that with all last night's residual beer, whiskey, rum. We went out with a couple of old roommates, actually, that we used to work with, Baz, when we trained at the casino 20 years ago. Went out and we went to the pub quiz. We ended up in the casino, obviously, and actually did all right. I've had a little hand of blackjack. I won about 22 out of 25 hands, had a proper mad run and managed to come out with it, disciplined. So that was new. But yeah, and then I got in, watched the highlights of the Newcastle match at 3:30 this morning when I was full of beer. So yeah, I've been a bit sleepy today, mate. But I've managed to handicap these games to within an inch of their life. And we've got loads more winners. We had a decent week again, Baz. So there were 6 midweek games. We both went 3 for 6. We'll run through them one by one in a moment. 3 for 6, but with some odds against some plus money winners, and the big dog hit Aston Villa. So probably bet 6 units to win maybe 8, I think, on the week, which is all right. We'll take that every time. The one thing I wanted to mention, Baz, before we get on to the games is Frank Lampard. I know we'll talk about when we get to Chelsea, but I just thought we'd touch on it at the top now, because sort of news broke round about yesterday afternoon that he was, I think he was at the game, actually. They played Liverpool on Tuesday night. He was at the game. So there was a little bit of chat around him, and then it was confirmed that they've appointed him on an interim basis. He's interiming. What do you make of all that, Baz?
It just come from nowhere, didn't it? Nobody seen it come in. I don't get it. I don't understand why they couldn't have just left Potter there for the rest of the season as an interim manager with the plan to get rid of him at the end of the year. It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, he did nothing for them last time round. Got the sack after a bad run. They've not then gone through Tuchel to Potter and then back to Lampard.
And in the meantime, Lampard's gone to Everton and been shite and got sacked.
Yeah, I mean,
as well.
In terms of the league, I could understand more if it was just the league season left for them, and you just think, you just hold the fort. We're not going to get into the European places. We're going to struggle, but we've got a massive Champions League game coming up against Real Madrid, and they had a really, really good Champions League win against Dortmund last time out. I said before, I think Chelsea can still, potentially get past Madrid. It just doesn't add up to me. I don't get it. What's your thoughts?
I'm completely baffled by it. Probably a couple of years ago, I was kind of quite sold on Frank Lampard because I felt he was quite easy to listen to when he didn't sort of talk in cliches. But however, we're in this society now in the modern world, Baz. You can see anything you want, and you don't have to improve it. Really, you can just see it. It's like when you watch The Apprentice and stuff, they all just come on and say stuff. Don't mean anything like. It doesn't mean they've done it. It just means they're saying it. And I think I got seduced a bit by Frank Lampard saying stuff. Was what happened, and then it's actually turned out he couldn't achieve any of the things that he was saying. So yeah, that was that. And then, I mean, if I was a Chelsea player, I was talking about like new manager, but I was just trying to handicap this game later on, Wolves against Chelsea, and my response is the same as your response, which is just with any of the other Chelsea players just not sat at home and just gone just means nothing. I don't think no one's going to be excited. Obviously, he's a club legend in that, but not to that disparate bunch of mercenaries in the dressing room. They didn't stand in the shed end in 1998 and watch him scuff all those 20-yarders into the bottom corner. So yeah, it's all a bit odd, mate. Excellent. Right then, okay. Well, the golf's going on, Baz. We picked some. Did you tweet out our picks for the golf? You did, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I don't know how they're doing. I know how mine are doing.
They're all loitering around even par. So nothing.
Put 6 out. Then we picked 3 each.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got. Where are we? Who did I put it? Thomas -2, him -1, and Homer's 1 over.
Right.
I don't know. Doing okay. Not sure about yours. I haven't highlighted yours.
I picked Kitty Armour and Hatton, Kitty Armour's struggling a bit. Hatton's doing all right. Yeah, it's early doors though, but I haven't really watched an awful lot of that. As I said, Baz been busy, but yeah, plenty. Hopefully we'll get a golf sweat on Sunday night as well. We'll go back to Monday night because we recorded the show. Did we record the show after the Everton-Tottenham game?
No, we recorded in the afternoon.
We did it early, didn't we? Yeah, I thought as much. Yeah, Everton won, Tottenham won.
Wasn't it? We were out of sync this week, so we're normally recording on the Sunday night, and we put it out at about 6 o'clock on Monday night. It was good to see a lot of people have picked it up, though. We got a lot more downloads this week after a good weekend last week. We've got a lot more people looking on the YouTube, so we've had lots of views on there. Definitely not enough thumbs up on the YouTube for how many people have watched it. So if you are watching back on YouTube now, just do click on the thumbs up. It helps. Subscribe, Spotify, give us a review, Apple reviews, all of that. For those who have just joined, hopefully you got something out of the last episode. We had enough there, and the one that we really did fancy was Villa at a good price. So yeah, keep subscribing, liking, and all the usual places.
Yeah, Barry's absolutely right. I kind of forgot to welcome any new listeners because we have had a little uptick. So if you are getting involved, thank you. We do appreciate it. Hopefully you've picked some winners as well. But yeah, so this Monday night game didn't come out of our last show's picks. Everton won, Tottenham won. But it was really a mention for 2 things, really. Firstly, Harry Kane's a tit. And secondly, I've got no idea at any point what Tottenham are trying to achieve, Baz, when they go out and play football. I don't know what they're up to. It's nuts.
It was awful. And you could, it come as no surprise to anybody. I think least of all Spurs fans when Everton got that equaliser later on, because Spurs were just waiting for it to happen. Absolutely bizarre. And again, it's a sort of managerial situation. I don't know what they think they're going to achieve by keeping him there and not trying to make a move now, because there are managers up for grabs, aren't there? If you want Nagelsmann or Pochettino, just go and get them. Just do it. Because Spurs have still got a lot riding on the season. That 4th place, they're just going to blow it. by not committing to someone now. I think it's another one where it just doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's all very strange. But yeah, so we're that was Everton Tottenham, but we'll get to our we'll run through the midweek games and give our opinions and how our picks did. Once I've told you about Underdog Fantasy, a great place to get down on fantasy and player props all year long. Underdog Fantasy has your favourite NBA, NHL, and MLB daily games. Plus, they're already doing best ball drafts for the 2023 NFL season. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Okay, Tuesday night, Bournemouth 0, Brighton 2. I took the draw. I was in it because Brighton scored first and Bournemouth missed some chances. Missed a couple of one-on-ones. Brighton scored late doors. Baz, you took the over 2.5. So bad start there, but kind of went before really. Brighton in good form. Bournemouth played okay, couldn't quite get it done. We both had a winner in the Leeds Forest game. We took Leeds on the money line. Not a very fancy price, but it was a good building block really. It was one of the 3 winners we had, and you can't pick them all at underdog or plus money prices. So I think this really did go to form. Like Forest got in front, which we didn't expect, but within half an hour they were behind, and Forest are on the slide, Baz, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I felt a bit hard done by in the Brighton game because it ruined my accumulator for the week. With needing the over 2.5, the XG combined for the two of them in that game was over 5. Bournemouth had an XG of over 2, and Brighton was around the 3 mark. So there were plenty of opportunities for goals and just didn't come off in the end. So a little bit unlucky on that one. But yeah, Leeds looked good enough at home against the Forest side who don't win away from home, and it all went to plan. So yeah, it was good to get that one in the books. And then the next one was one that we both said was just a stupid price, wasn't it? Leicester v Villa.
Yeah, this was the headline of the week. Leicester 1, Aston Villa 2. We both took Villa as the 19-10 underdogs. It was a nice pick. We got helped by a red card. We do say regularly that the third element of having a bet, in a winning bet, is getting that little bit of luck. So yeah, we were helped by the red card at Dewsbury Hall. And it was a great goal, the winner. Who scored it? I can't remember. Took me in. That was him. Not Bertrand, was it? Yeah. Yeah, great finish. But I think Villa, once they got in front, I never really thought Villa weren't going to get it done, even though Leicester pegged them back. And it took them to late. But yeah, it was just a lovely, lovely price. The bookies got that one wrong. And we were on it pretty quick. Like the next game, Chelsea to Liverpool 0, Baz. I took the overs. You took Liverpool team total. Why didn't anyone notice that the 3 previous games had finished 0-0, Baz? How did this get past us? This is negligent. Did you even see it?
I was aware that there'd been low scoring.
We were aware.
I know, but we both said, and to be honest, my mind changed on it entirely as soon as I seen the Liverpool lineup. I had the fear I didn't like my pick at all. But we both said we just felt both these teams would play with the shackles off with the situation they're in. And I don't know, I just expected more from both of them. And to be fair, Chelsea should have won the game, shouldn't they? They had more than enough chances. And again, in my analysis, I said the problem with Chelsea is they haven't got a striker. And it proved to be the case again. The lack of a striker is costing them week in, week out. They had an XG of 2.3. Didn't put away the chances they got. Liverpool never really threatened, never looked like scoring. And as I say, I took Liverpool team goals. I did say it, I think we both agreed it was the hardest game of the week to handicap. As you say, in hindsight, it should have probably been the easiest. We should have just stuck with a form. But as soon as I saw the Liverpool lineup and Gakpo was gone, Salah, Robertson, Arnold, Trent Arnold, Van Dijk, just all out of the lineup. When you looked at the team and you're just like, that's fucking grim. Like, it looked horrible. And then Klopp was trying to big it up after the game, saying how okay the result was, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the performance and all this. And I don't know. It was I thought they were horrible, and yeah, it makes it even I mean, they've got Arsenal next time, and we'll come to that soon. So it'll be interesting to see how that performance factors into your pick for Arsenal. But yeah,
I think in the Discord channel, I mean, we often talk about getting in there because the Sharks were there. Once the team news did come out, the feeling in the Discord channel kind of changed. Everyone jumped off. We had people like Johnny Junta was messaging on Twitter, so there was quite a lot of chat about this under 2.5, and the kind of the feeling did change once we'd seen the team news. So that was one of those things. Moving on to Wednesday night, Manchester United won, Brentford 0. I took the draw. A little bit unlucky. I mean, Brentford, there's at least one one-on-one. I've caught up with the highlights today to equalise after my mate Rashford scored. And Manchester United hung on for a 1-0 win. Again, we said Manchester United were perfectly capable of winning the game, but you wouldn't want to be backing them at. They were 11-17, minus 153. Just disappointed Brentford couldn't get the score sheet, really, because I did expect that. But yeah, Man United over the line, and that kept them, put them back into 4th place above Tottenham. Baz, what was your pick there? Or you took both teams to score?
And again, sort of picked out the right things. I said Man United were too short. You couldn't back them on things like handicaps or team goals, the stuff that we would normally look at when Man U were at home, and they were in good form, because they weren't in good form at the moment. And I was right at backing them to score 2 or more to get a reasonable price, or winning in the handicap. Just didn't fancy in this game, and that was right. But I did expect Brentford to contribute more and to get at least on the score sheet. And wasn't a bit, as I say, they did have 1 or 2 chances, but hold my hands up on that one. Got it wrong.
Finally, West Ham 1, Newcastle United 5. Wallop. I watched this when I got in junk at 3:30 in the morning. I watched it when I got up today at lunchtime, and I've watched it twice since. So I'm well and truly versed in what's happened to you, Baz. Newcastle to win. 15-13 was the pick. Tick next to my name there. Lovely. And stress-free as well. I'd arranged this night out, so
stress-free for you because you didn't watch it live.
Well, that was stress-free for everyone. We won 5-1. Baz, where's the stress in that?
But I'll tell you where this well, not stress. I was never stressed. But I backed Newcastle to score 2 or more.
Yeah.
And you said last week, if they're going to score 2 or more, do you not think they'll win? And I said, I'm quite happy to just have me 2 goals.
Yeah.
And not worry about it 2-2. And for a little period, first half hour, obviously I'd cashed mine within 20 minutes. But West Ham did start to get back in the game and then equalised just before half time. And you did have a feeling that the momentum of the game had swung a little bit in their favour. And at that point, I'm sitting there cashed out, absolutely fine. Whereas if I'd backed them, albeit some books you get paid out early, there would have been a bit of jeopardy there for a little while. But thankfully, the no stress came because we scored 20 seconds into the second half. And had we not have done that, it could have been a different story possibly, because West Ham did have a little spell, 10-15 minutes, where they were getting a bit more of a foothold in the game. But yeah, again, I think mine was about 11-8 for Newcastle, scored 2 or more, and I laddered that up. I put in the score that I'd laddered up, although I didn't put it out before the game, so it shouldn't really boast about it too much. But I took the 2 or more, 3 or more, 4 or more, 5 or more. Got up to 40-1 for 5 or more goals. Newcastle.
Wow.
16-1 for the 4 or more, 5-1 for 3 or more. When the first 2 cash, 20 minutes into the game, you're just free rolling the rest of the way. So really, really good. I mean, the performance was brilliant from Newcastle, but there was also a lot of elements of really how poor West Ham were, because there was a lot of individual errors leading to the goals, weren't it? But at times, Newcastle's football was absolutely scintillating. It was really, really good to watch. And you can just see the confidence growing again at the right time for Newcastle. And finally, finishing my chances. That's 4 games in a row now. We've hit at least a couple of goals. 12 goals, I think, in the last 4, which is really good. And what we'd said beforehand that we thought would lean into Newcastle's favour in this game was being able to rotate again, having a strong squad, players coming back fit. And you bring in Joe Linton, Callum Wilson, and they both scored 2 apiece. And it just shows it, again, we had strong options coming off the bench. We're bringing on Willock, Isaac, Anthony Gordon. Really, really good options coming off the bench, which bodes well for Newcastle going forward. If we can keep everyone fit as they are at the moment, even with Almiron still missing. We've got options where we can rotate it around. But yeah, really, really good performance. Good to watch and good to see us getting back in the goals, because we had a lot of games like that earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Where we put a few teams to the sword, which is why our goal difference is so much better than the teams around us, like Spurs and Man United. And again, that's been a massive boost last night with another 4-goal margin.
Excellent use of the word scintillating, Baz. I think that's the first appearance of the word scintillating in episode 55. Just while I remember, Baz, I went to Meat Stack in the Big Market last night. Have you been there? Are you aware of this? No,
I'm aware of the place, but I've not been. Good burger.
Honestly, the best burger I've had in my life. Nice. It was incredible. I can't remember this was quite early on. This was before I was full of beer. I was like a third full of beer at this point. But I got a Canadian something or other, which was obviously the double patty. There was some blue cheese. There was some maple syrup or maple covered bacon and a load of garlicky stuff in there. And it was absolutely top class, Baz. It was incredible. And I can't remember what Craig and Kelly had. They had similar things, same but different. Yeah, but best burger I've ever had. And I know you're a fan, Baz. So if I was you, and obviously you could get a booze as well. So I had a can of cider. So a burger and a can of cider for £14 something. Absolutely in the element. Like,
was it a French Canadian Redux? Was that?
Oh, you on the menu, are you? Yeah. What's in it?
Blue cheese, garlic butter, maple, streaky bacon.
That's what I said.
Hot sauce, hash brown. Sounds good.
Yeah, mate, top class. And I don't know what the.
I don't know what the afternoon tea today.
Oh, your afternoon tea with your tiny. Oh no, it wasn't tiny sandwiches, was it? It was big pies and stuff. You said
it was. Yeah, it was a Mother's Day gift for my mother and for the missus. So took everyone out with the kids and stuff like that, and spent a fortune on an afternoon tea.
What a guy, Baz. They're lucky to have you. Right, okay, let's make some picks, Baz. 10 games truncated into Saturday lunchtime through to the tea time game on Sunday. First game Saturday, 12:30 UK time, and that's 7:30 Eastern time. Is Manchester United against Everton. Man United are 1-2 favourites, -200. The draw is at Burlington Bertie, 130 plus 333. The Toffees, Everton, 11-2 plus 550. I have got no intention of backing Man United at 1-2. Same as the other night, pretty much. They might win. They could very easily win, but you're mad if you're putting any money on them at 1-2. There's not much to recommend Everton on the other side of that, especially on their away form. 1-1 and drawn 6 of their 14 away games. They have had a couple of 2-2 away draws recently. But just on the eye test, they very much look like the outliers. I mean, even on Monday night against Tottenham, they huffed and puffed a lot and they were competitive. But they are going to struggle to score goals. They haven't got a centre forward who can put one in the net. And then they don't really have any sort of attacking midfielders. It's set pieces. And even Monday night, the centre back who never scores, Michael Keane, smashes one in from 30 yards. Decore will be missing after scraping Harry Kane's face or whatever the hell happened the other night as well. Man United have had 3 in a row here, under 2.5 goals. And I still quite like that angle. They squeezed past Brentford 1-0. They never look like scoring against Newcastle at the weekend. Everton will try hard. They'll defend well. Everton are going to contribute much, if at all, in the offensive column here. So I'm going to take the under 2.5 goals, Baz. Price is 4-5, -125.
Yeah, so I'm similar to you. I don't trust Man United here. Given their recent form and struggles in front of goal. It was the first win in the Premier League in 4 games. And the first goal scored in that period as well. I mean, Everton, say back come off the back of a draw v Spurs, and they are on an unbeaten run of 4 games now. Their overall form under Dyche isn't bad at all, really. They lost to Arsenal and Liverpool away and Villa at home. So decent sides in decent form. Well, I wouldn't say Liverpool are in decent form, but the home form's all right. The more recent form looks good. I think they'd be quite happy with 5 points from Brentford, Chelsea, Spurs in the last 3 games. I'm still not convinced about Man United at the moment. And again, I just find them too short here. I don't want anything to do with them in handicaps or team goals. Again, as I said the other day, bit similar here, struggling in front of goal. So I think Everton will pick up the points they need to stay in the league. I don't think they'll get relegated. I think that they'll pick them up by being hard to beat. And I think they could potentially get something from this game. There's enough sign of fight in them under Dyche. And I think my preferred play here is to take Everton on the Asian handicap +1. So it's just over evens, 21-20 +105. So if Everton win or draw, we cash that. And if Man United win by 1 goal, it's a push. Man United win by 2 or more, we're a loser. Man United don't look like blowing anyone away at the moment. And I just think Everton can keep it tight and maybe give themselves a chance of nicking a draw and cashing that. So, yeah, Everton on the Asian handicap +1. It's just over evens for me, 21-20.
I mean, if they keep rolling Cartos up front as well, like, that's an absolute fiasco. Like, luckiest man alive. Next up, we go to the 3 o'clocks on Saturday. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3 o'clock games. Old-fashioned Saturday afternoon card here. The first one is Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. Villa 4-7, -175. The draw 16-5 +320. And Nottingham Forest are 92 +450. Baz, tell us about Villa v Forest.
Got a question for you first. Do you know when they last played each other, these two teams? Yeah.
1998.
2018. Do you know what the score was? Probably not, because you didn't.
No, of course not.
Last time they played head-to-head, 5-5.
Oh, shit.
I don't have many 5-5 draws around here.
No, absolutely not.
Tammy Abraham scored 4. Yeah, so the head-to-head last time out 5-all. And they were both in the championship at the time. Villa went down, come back up. I found this one a bit easier. And you probably know why. Villa are pretty good. Forest aren't very good. Villa unbeaten in 16 points from 18, 5 wins and a draw. And they're making a run here at the right time on, and they've jumped above Brentford and Liverpool this week. They've not failed to score now in 16 league games. The only real blip they've had recently was that 4-2 defeat to Leicester, where they obviously still got on the score sheet twice. They still scored against Arsenal twice. They even scored against Man City in defeat there. Forest, on the other hand, have now stretched their winless streak to 8 league games. And on the road, it's even worse. I think it's 5 defeats in a row, 4 of them by a margin of 2 or more goals. So there's a few ways to play it. I mean, Villa, I think, will win. They're a bit short at 4-7. I do think they'll win it. So it's then how you get it to a decent price. And I thought tagging on the over 1.5 gets you to around evens, +100. Villa to win and over 1.5 goals. I also looked at Villa to score 2 or more, which is 8-11. But then I went sort of back to your thinking last week when I put up a good bet like that. And I think in this one, if Villa do score 2 or more, I can't see Forest scoring 2 goals. So I think 8-11, there's a bit of a difference, the 8-11 there, or taking the Villa and over 1.5 goals is probably a better play. The other play that, if you want to get a little bit more ambitious, just to take Villa in the handicap, win by 2 or more goals at 13-8. Forest have been beaten by 2 or more in 4 of the last 5, as I said. Villa have scored 2 or more in the last 3 games. They're scoring often enough. Watkins is hitting form. So I feel comfortable taking Villa in a variety of ways here. But I'm going to go with Aston Villa to win and over 1.5 goals in the game. And that'll come in at just around even money, +100.
Yeah, I don't need to add much to that, Baz. The first thing that struck me when I looked at this was what a terrible price Nottingham Forest are. I mean, they should be double that. They should be 10-1, like Anyone, again, taking them at 9-2. Preposterous. Villa in great form. They will smash them. A couple of ways of dressing this up. Villa -1.5. I got it 5-3 plus 167. Or I was happy to ladder Aston Villa goals here. So you mentioned them to score 2 or more. At 8 to 11. Over 2.5 goals is plus 240. Over 3.5 is 7-1. Over 4.5 is 18-1. Villa could win this 5-0, Baz, and we could cash all of them. So yeah, get on Villa, and then we'll get up the ladder on Villa team goals. Okay, we will keep going. So I've told you about the driver giveaway on the Golf Gambling Podcast. They're giving away a tailor-made driver. Completely free to enter, and you have a chance to win an awesome tailor-made driver. The draw will take place on Sunday, this Sunday. That's April the 8th. So make sure to get in by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/driver. Okay, we'll crack on with the 3 o'clocks. Brentford against Newcastle. Brentford are 5-2 plus 250. Draws 12-5 plus 240. Newcastle 11-10 plus 110. Brentford's still playing well, but it's only 1 win in 5 now. Newcastle made it 4 in a row last night, and have been absolutely dominant in the last 3 games. I know they went behind against Forest, but since then, we've been absolutely outstanding. You already mentioned at the top of the show, Baz, the squad availability, and the bench is packed at the minute. We can make changes, and nothing's weakening the side. They're absolutely full of goals. They had an XG of over 4 against Manchester United, then scored 5 in the week. I just think you have to keep riding them. They're the hot team at the moment. And like I say, I don't mind Brentford. You normally try and find a way to factor Brentford into your handicap. If it was any other team in the league, I'd probably try and do that. But at this point, I'm just happy to take Newcastle. They were a similar price last night and went and won 5-1 away from home. They're staying in London. It all points to Newcastle for me. 11-10, plus 110 for Newcastle to win, Barry.
Yeah, so I mean, we made similar to what you're saying. We made a lot of Brentford's good run lately. Was just 1 defeat in 15 until last night. But that defeat did come after back-to-back draws against Brighton and Leicester. And although they're not losing many, they're not winning many either. So you said 1 in 5. I'd picked out 2 of the last 8. And the 2 wins they did get was Southampton and Fulham. So yeah, they're not winning loads of games at the moment. And as you say, you're coming up now against Newcastle at the worst possible time. They've regained the momentum that they'd lost around the cup final. Playing with confidence once again after a brief period where they were struggling to score. They've now scored 12 in the last 4 games and scored, as I said, 2 in each of those wins. So 4 wins in a row now. And the way they played in the last week, I'm confident backing them again here. As we said last week, he's got the rotation options. We've got plenty of players now whose confidence is increasing week on week. Wilson will be, feeling a lot better after getting those couple of goals. Joe Linton took both his well last night. So yeah, lots of fans. Newcastle to win appeals at 11-10, but I'm just going to go with the same as we played last week and take the goals. And I like, again, the insurance here of having the 2-2 on my side, because Brentford are capable, as they showed last week in that 3-3 against Brighton. They are capable of putting up goals occasionally. So yeah, I'm going to go with Newcastle to score 2 or more at 11-10. It's the same price as Newcastle to win, but I like Newcastle to score 2 or more at 11-10. And that gives me the insurance of a high scoring draw or that's 3-2. But also, I mean, the corners is worth mentioning again. We've brought it up at various times. Tried it again last night. It was mentioned in the Discord and started off at evens for Newcastle to get 6 or more. They got 6 in the first 65 minutes. And then it stopped there. So we're a little bit unlucky not to go a few more rungs up the ladder. But similar line here. It's around evens for Newcastle to get 6 or more corners. They've hit that 6 or more in the last 4 games. So yeah, Newcastle 6 or more corners and ladder it up a little bit because it's always got a chance. And every time that line's around 6, Newcastle just seem to hit that easy enough. And that's, if that's your break-even point and anything from there is a bonus, it's always worth a go. So yeah, worth highlighting that they are flowing again, those corners in the Newcastle games.
Next is Fulham against West Ham. Fulham 9-5 plus 180. The draw is 9-4 plus 225. West Ham 13-8 plus 162. Baz, I want you, if you've got anything about you, Baz, I want you to. I've written down the first sentence that you're going to say when you handicap this game. Go.
I've put down Fulham have hit a bit of a wall here with 4 defeats from 4 and 11 goals conceded in the last 4 games.
All right. Okay. That's not what I'm.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Keep going. You might get to my point anyway.
Yeah. So as I say, 4 defeats in a row now for Fulham. That includes the cup game against Man United, but also conceding a lot of goals. And they're now without Mitrovic for the next 8. Well, I say next 8 games. He's already missed 1. The next 7, and I believe the FA are appealing the ban. I don't know who issued the ban or whatever, but I'm sure I'd read something that they're considering appealing it as being too lenient. I think it's a bit ridiculous. I think it's probably about right. Defeat to Bournemouth last week was ominous for me for Fulham. Not good form at the moment. Bournemouth on the who we got? West Ham. There's no real pattern to be found there. They've got 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses in the last 8 games. And their away form isn't pretty. They've only got 1 point in the last 4 in the league. So yeah, I think you can describe West Ham's form as patchy, but I think Fulham's is far more concerning at the moment. I think they're going to struggle the rest of the season. But I mean, they picked up enough points early on that they don't need to be too concerned. I mean, Newcastle played well last night, but a lot of those goals, as I said, did come from individual errors from West Ham. And they just can't play that bad again. I'm sure they can't. And I think I can take them to beat Fulham here. Fulham, who are on a bit of a downward slide. I think West Ham at 13-8 are going to beat Fulham, and that's where I'm going. West Ham to win.
Well, that's
not like that at all.
Proper head and hands moment, that, Baz. Yeah, I'm amazed. Yeah, I mean, I might not have sobered up from last night. But the first thing I've written down here is who the fuck made West Ham favourites away from home against a team higher than them in the league? I mean, against any team. You said they can't play that bad again. I think they can because they play that bad every week. Why would they not play that bad again? Like, there's just nothing to tell you that bloody awful. So
Fulham are shite.
Yeah, right. We for a little while I've been quite a big proponent of talking up Fulham sliding back towards their mean, but you're going to love my pick, Baz. It's going to entertain you to win this. Anyway, West Ham being favourites is nuts. What I've done here, Baz, this is the first time I have done this in 55 shows. This is very much from the Barry Penaluna school of shandy bets. I'm taking Fulham, draw no bet, because West Ham can't win. You know, like a couple of weeks ago, whatever game couldn't be a draw. We've been happened a few times. West Ham can't win this game. You can rule that. Scribble that. I'm scribbling it out now on my thing there. Scribbled out. That's not one of the options. The only options are Fulham win and the draw. But like you say, Fulham aren't in great form. So, just in case they don't win, we'll get our money back because it'll be a draw. So that's that one handicapped. I can't believe you've taken.
Absolutely no help to anyone.
No, it's no. Well, it's helpful to me because I'm going to win some money, but you're not. So.
I know, but you spoke like this last week when I told you Crystal Palace would beat Leicester, and that's either. So I'm all right. I'm sticking to my guns. You know, I've had a few of these. You know, I took Bournemouth to beat Wolves after Bournemouth were on a terrible streak. I'll say that Palace one against Leicester. I've got some good form with these ones where they're not expected. See where we end up. One of us is
right.
Will be happy.
I took Iran to beat Wales, Baz. Remember that? That was a good one. Leicester versus Bournemouth is the 3 o'clock kickoff. Leicester 5-6, minus 120. The draw is 11-4, plus 275. Bournemouth 16-5, plus 320. This is really, really tricky, Baz. Leicester, without a manager, have only picked up 1 point from 7 games. We took them to get turned over in the week, which they duly obliged for us. Patterns-wise, both teams have scored in 4 games in a row involving Leicester. Bournemouth are competitive. We say the same thing every week. The January signings made a difference. They had many chances to equalise against Brighton, and then got picked off late on and lost 2-0 this midweek. They have won 2 of their last 4. This is a mess. You've got the second worst home team in the league against the third worst away team. I didn't really know what to do with it. I took my bet from the Leicester pattern of both teams to score. Like I said, they don't look like they can defend. Bournemouth have got a little bit about them. They did all right. They were decent at Arsenal recently. The only, like I say, the one bad result was that defeated Villa. And actually, Villa are in really, really good form. So the way Bournemouth have recovered from that, you can maybe excuse them. So I'm going to take both teams to score. It's not a fancy price, but it's 3-4, minus 133.
Yeah, you can have that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much point in going over most of it. Similar stats to you, and came to the very same conclusion. Both teams to score. As you say, it's hit 4 in a row for Leicester. I think it's hit the last 2 in Bournemouth games. Leicester have only failed to score once in the last 6 games. That was a defeat against Arsenal. But Bournemouth, similar. They're scoring in enough games to make you think you've got a chance. I think 6 of the last 8 they've got on the score sheet. Same play. Both teams to score at 3-4. Was the
excellent.
Bournemouth.
Baz co-signs and retweets the BTTS at Leicester. Next up is Tottenham Hotspur against Brighton and Hove Albion, where Tottenham will go off the home favourites at 14-9 plus 155. The draw at 5-2. Brighton 13-5 plus 170. Baz, interest in this one. Tottenham Brighton. How did you do it?
It's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, Spurs obviously coming into it off the back of 2 poor draws against Everton and Southampton. Games where they were in the lead and lost it late on. Lost the lead late on, that is. Prior to that, they had a home win against Forest. Big deal. Everybody wins at home. Forest. The home form still isn't bad, though. 4 wins in a row at home. 3 of them by a 2-goal margin. The only one that wasn't by 2 or more was the game against Man City. It's still a good result. That 1-0 win. They've also kept 3 clean sheets in the last 4 at home. But I mean, that's enough of the positives for Spurs, really. They just look lost at the moment. Conte's departure hasn't changed anything. They look awful against Everton earlier in the week. And now they're coming up against a Brighton side who are unbeaten in 5 league games, just 1 defeat in the last 9, scoring goals again. But I think it's important to look at Brighton's fixtures lately. They've had a pretty easy run of games. They've beaten Bournemouth twice, West Ham, Palace. They drew against Palace in another game against them, drew with Leeds, Leicester. So they haven't played anyone in the top 6 since losing to Arsenal back in December. So I think you do have to sort of temper expectations a little bit with Brighton for the fact their good form is coming in games where we would mostly expect them to be winning. Spurs won the reverse fixture 1-0 in October. I think they were a better team then, though. But Spurs games at home, they've gone under 2.5, 8 in a row until the recent 3-1 win over Forest. And despite Brighton's good form of late, they have gone under 2.5 in 5 of their last 8 games. So I'm going to take this one to be a low-scoring affair. Under 2.5 goals at evens for the Spurs v Brighton game is the pick for me.
Okay, like that one, Baz. Large child has just arrived in the kitchen and is putting loads of things in the oven. But I've told her to keep the noise down for a few moments while I talk this one through. This was really, really odd. For me, this is about the clash of styles, I think. Spurs will do whatever the fuck it is that they're doing at the minute. It makes no sense to me at all. And I think they're completely vulnerable to a team who's just going to go out and try and beat them. A good team as well. Tottenham have won 4 in a row at home. They have been favourable fixtures apart from that Man City one. This feels weird to me because if you just looked at the form lines, the data, it all kind of points to Spurs, but I've got no interest in backing them at all. I think I did a lot of when Sean. You can always tell when Sean hasn't researched anything properly because he says, I'm a gut handicapper. What he means is he hasn't bothered doing any work and he's just going to pick one. And after that, this might have been the hangover talking today after a lot of gut handicapping. But But I'm just not interested in backing Tottenham. I think they're just going to fanny about, and Brighton will have a right good go. I'm going to pick Brighton at 13-5 for the win at plus 170. Next up is Wolves against Chelsea. This isn't the tea time game, is it? This is still a 3 o'clock game, so we're still 10 a.m. Eastern time. Wolves are 3-1. The draw is 5-2. Chelsea are 19-20, minus 105. Another hard one. Wolves are struggling a little bit. I was sort of high in them January time, and they picked up some results. You were the opposite, and yeah, they've just sort of slipped back a little bit. Only 1 point from their last 3, and they did lose at home to Leeds and Bournemouth quite recently. The key to this game is what Lampard's going to get out of Chelsea. Is he going to get a response? And we already covered this. My response was just a little shrug of the shoulders, and I don't know why anyone's would be any different. Therefore, I'm going to take the draw. I think Wolves will be delighted with the draw. I don't know if Chelsea will have enough about them to win it. They did play. They played all right the other night. I'll give you that. However, Wolves are okay. They can defend. Possibly a 0-0, Baz, this could be, or a 1-1. But I'm going to stick straight down the middle. 5-2 plus 250 for the draw, Barry.
Yeah, so first of all, Wolves are at home, which tells you it's time for my
Barry's patterns.
Their pattern. So, as I say every time, Wolves' home form, they've alternated win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. It's now up to 11 times in a row.
Oh,
and they lost last time out.
Yeah.
So this one is a win. Just got someone in the chat here from Slick Rick, who says no goals first half in the Wolves v Chelsea match. Don't mind that at all. I think it will be a low-scoring game. Overall form for Wolves isn't great. They've won just 1 in the last 7. Both teams to score has hit 3 in a row for them, though. Chelsea have hit 2 blanks in a row, failing to score against Liverpool or Villa. That's despite an XG of 2.3 in each of those games. I think Chelsea will score here, and I think 1 goal might be all they need to do it. I think it's close enough to evens. Chelsea on the money lines are okay for me. I've been out on Wolves for a while now, and done okay fading them in the right spot. I think Chelsea, as I said, I just think they're an all right price. They should really have beaten Liverpool through the week. Obviously, they're not playing to get Potter sacked anymore, which might make a difference. So Chelsea to win for me at around even money. And 1-0 at 6-1 appeals.
Fair enough.
I've got a bit of activity here. Someone else is saying Chelsea win because of new coach. It's exactly what I've said. They're no longer playing to get Potter sacked, which is how it's appeared for a long, long time. Chelsea to win. I think it will be a low-scoring affair. So that pick from Slick Rick, no goals in first half, could be nice. Chelsea to win, and I'll have a little bit on Chelsea to win 1-0 at 6-1.
So we're taking the 0-0 half time, then Chelsea get it done in the second half, and you, Slick Dick, and Devo will all have picked your winnings up. Yeah. My draw's going down the pan by the looks of it. The consensus is with Chelsea. The tea time game, crumpets, etc., at 5:30, 12:30 Eastern time, is Southampton against Manchester City. Southampton are 10-1. The draw is 5-1. Manchester City are 1-4. Minus 400, Baz. Another impossible Manchester City game to handicap.
Yeah, it's the same old story of Man City, isn't it? It's just where do you find your value? Where's the sweet spot? How many goals will they score? How many will they win by? Just in the same spot, really. Southampton no win in 4 games, and they've failed to score in 3 of those. The other one was the 3-3 draw against Spurs. Southampton are the side now that look to be in big trouble, don't they? And I don't see them getting any reprieve here. They did beat City at home in the AFL Cup earlier on, but they also lost the away game at City 4-0. City currently on a 7-game winning streak. And I think I said a while back when we were talking about the title race, I didn't think this City side looked like they would go on a huge winning streak as they've done in the past to reel Arsenal back in. But I could be proved wrong. At the moment, they do seem to be sort of going through the gears, hitting the stride. Certainly looked really comfortable against Liverpool last week. That 7-game winning streak does include games like Burnley in the Cup and Leipzig in the Champions League. But I mean, they scored 27 in those 7 games and 17 in the last 3 games alone. 5 clean sheets recently. They have started to keep clean sheets after we'd, slated them for not doing so for so long. And even away from home, they're unbeaten in 6 in all competitions. And they've scored 3 or more in half of those 6 games away from home. So as I say, it's the same old story with City. You have to try and find a winning play amongst all the short prices available. So I've looked at the handicap, minus 1.5 for Man City to win by 2 or more at 8 to 11. If you want to be a bit more ambitious, minus 2.5 is at 7 to 4. But I think I'll take them to score team goals of 3 or more at 11 to 10. Haaland should return. He's back in training this week. His recent scoring exploits, he's been on fire again. Wouldn't back against him getting another hat-trick here. They didn't need him last week when they put Liverpool to the sword, put 4 past them. But I think this will be a long day for Southampton. So the pick for me is City to score 3 or more at 11 to 10. But I don't mind the handicaps. If you want a shorter play, minus 1.5 at 8 to 11. If you want to be a bit more ambitious, City to win by 3 or more is around 7 to 4. I don't mind any of those.
Okay. Southampton aren't really doing enough, unfortunately. They're underperforming in the games. They actually look like they should be getting results in, it's alarming, really. They're the one team at the minute who do look absolutely gone. They did beat City home in the League Cup, as well remembered. It's still hard to predict Manchester City, even though they're on this mad run. A lot of it depends on the team news, because obviously this is a look-ahead spot. We've got the Champions League midweek. They take on Munich. So I've been very high on watching whether or not KDB starts for them. I must actually point out, in the interests of fairness, Baz, never let it be said that I am not a reasonable man. The Jack Grealish was absolutely outstanding last week. I slagged him off quite a lot, just in jest mainly because of his accent in his hair. But he was outstanding last week. Who did they batter last week?
That was Liverpool.
Okay. He was great.
I think 3 or 4 games now, he's looked really, really the type of player they signed him to be. And it has took a while to get there, but he has justified keeping his place week in, week out. Now he's one of the first names on the team sheet every week, it seems, at the moment, and rightfully so. We have panned him at times over the last year. But yeah, he really is hitting good form at the moment.
Yeah, he was outstanding last week. I was happy to give Southampton a goal here. I think they'll have a go, whether it's a garbage time goal when Man City are 4-0 up and they make some changes for later in the week, or if Southampton, like they did in the League Cup game, is really get after them. They had a go and they caught Man City on the hop, so they could see Southampton scoring in the first 20 minutes before Man City turned the skew and go beat them 4-1 or something. It was just a big price as well. It was 11 to 10, so a little bit of plus money, plus 110. Because Man City definitely will score, but I think Southampton can chip one in. So I'll take BTTS in that one. 2 games to get to on Sunday. The first is a relegation dogfight. It's a 2:00 kickoff, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time, between Leeds and Crystal Palace. Leeds are 11 to 10, plus 110. The draw is 12 to 5, plus 240. Palace are 13 to 5, plus 260. Leeds have won 2 of their last 3, and crucially for me, have won the similar comparison games. They beat Forest 2-1 on Wednesday. They won at Wolves, and they beat Southampton 1-0 at home. Palace were better last week, but I'm still not buying into it. Maybe that was just the one new manager bounce that they're going to get out of Hudson. And crucially, now I haven't had this confirmed, but Zaha went off. He looked like he did his groin last week. He's got to be out, hasn't he? I didn't check, Baz. I was, like I say, I was tired and emotional today. But there's no way Zaha's playing anyway. And Zaha, famously, Crystal Palace can't win if Wilf isn't playing. I think Leeds are a good price here, 11 to 10. I'll take Leeds on the money line, Barry.
Right. I mean, we took Leeds midweek, didn't we, against Forest, and a fairly comfortable win there. They were well beaten against Arsenal before that, but that is their only defeat in the last 4. So there are some signs of recovery of late for Leeds. As I say, Palace won last time out as well, 2-1 win over Leicester, breaking an 11-game winless streak before that. I found it a difficult one. It's just hard to know if that win for Palace will see them find a little bit of form and bounce back. But what I did say about Palace last week was what I did like when I tipped them to beat Leicester was the turn in the fixtures for them. I think they will pick up enough points to be safe. I think they'll pick up points over the next few games. It's obviously difficult to back them on the form line. But I think you do have to factor in the run of games leading up to Vieira getting sacked was much tougher than the run of games that they now find themselves in. So I think they will pick up points along the way and possibly in this one. But Leeds at home are hard to beat. Only Man United have beaten Leeds at Elland Road in the last 7 games. So I did toy with the idea of taking Palace here. And there might be a little bit of a comeback to that later on in the show. But I've decided to go here with it, both teams to score. That's hitting 4 in a row for the Leeds games. It's hit the last 2 games for Palace. And it's around 19-20. So just under even money. Both teams to score, Leeds v Palace.
Okay. The final game is the Sunday afternoon telly game. 4:30. Kick-off 11:30 Eastern Time. Liverpool against Arsenal. Liverpool are the home puppies, plus 187, 15-8. The draws at 13-5, plus 260. And Arsenal are 11-8, plus 137. Baz, interesting game, this one. Tell us who's going to win.
I mean, the first thing I wrote down is I was annoyed with myself for backing Liverpool in any way, shape or form through the week, and I won't make the same mistake again. You can't make me. I backed Liverpool goals. It was an error, and I'm not making the same error again. I'd be interested to know anyone who is watching at the moment in the chat. Let us know what you're going with this one, because I think it's an interesting one to see where.
Yeah, I could do some help actually. Yeah,
because Liverpool's home form is decent enough. They've a couple of European defeats in recent home form, Lyon and Real Madrid. But other than that, they're unbeaten domestically at Anfield since losing to Leeds back in October. But similar to what I brought up with the Brighton game, they haven't faced much in that time. Their home wins have come against Wolves, Everton, Leicester, Southampton. Obviously, the one they do deserve credit for is the 7-0 against Man United. So I'm taking their home form with a pinch of salt, really, because they've had a really favourable run of games. Arsenal, on the other hand, are in genuine and great form. 7 wins in a row in the league. They've scored 3 or more in each of the last 5 games now. Again, they have had a hugely favourable run of games, though. Arsenal wins against Leicester, Everton, Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds recently. Again, good run of games at a good time for Arsenal. But they do keep winning and winning well. And against this Liverpool midfield and Liverpool backline at the moment, I think they can continue with it. I think that Arsenal attack could cause loads of problems for this Liverpool team who are low on confidence at the moment. I think we're getting a good price for Arsenal at 11-8. But I'm going to go back to the goals market again. And it's mainly because I could back Arsenal 11-8, but there's always a risk that Liverpool can find their scoring form. It's always possible. It wouldn't surprise you if Salah, Nunez, any of them do get involved. So I'm going to go with Arsenal to score 2 or more. It's at 10-11. But I'm going to be a little bit more ambitious and ladder it slightly. I'm going to go up to 3 or more also at 3-1. I think Arsenal will win this. I think they'll win it by scoring a few goals. Liverpool might play their part. So rather than taking Arsenal on the money line, which I don't mind, I think it's a good price. But for me, the safer option, Arsenal to score 2 or more, 10-11. And the more ambitious play for me here, 3 or more at 3-1.
We asked for some help, and Slick Ricks joined in with Arsenal win and both teams to score, which fits in perfectly with your handicap there, Baz.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly the sort of line of thinking. I'm thinking of something like a 3-1, 3-2, something like that.
Yeah, I kept this simple. Am I impressed with Liverpool? No, not at all. Am I impressed with Arsenal? Yes, I think they've been excellent. And surprisingly so, we did expect them maybe to drop their arse, get reeled in a little bit after Man City turned them over. But they haven't. They've gone completely gone the other way. Liverpool at home can turn it on out of nowhere. We saw it, the hump Man United. But I think Arsenal are a different proposition here. I have to take Arsenal on the money line, 11-8. I think they're in incredible form. They've got the bit between the teeth. It won't take much here for Liverpool just to kind of down tools as well. Not down tools, but just just get behind the 8 ball. I think if Arsenal get in front, I think that could be it. Like, because the Liverpool are on the precipice at all times at the moment. We've seen them lose to teams that shouldn't be getting beat off and just struggling. So yeah, it has to be Arsenal on the money line for me. Price is 11-8 plus 137. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, has got us through the 10 games. Baz, locks, dogs, scorer, and a parlay. Where do you want to start?
I've got a scorer, and for me, I'm going with Ollie Watkins, anytime goal scorer. He's at 13-10. He's scored in his last 2 games. He's scored in 8 of the last 10 games for Villa. He's on absolute fire at the moment. It's a game where I think Villa will do well. Ollie Watkins for me. He's 13-10 to score anytime, and I also like him to score 2 or more at 13-2, so plus 650.
Oh, I love that.
So Ollie
Watkins, didn't look at that.
More, 2 or more. If you're going to do it, you might as well have a sprinkle on the hat trick as well for the sake of it. I haven't looked at the price. I'll check that out for you in a second, though.
Yeah, well, I'll chime in there, Baz, because he was my pick as well. I've got Villa scoring 5 goals on Saturday, so if they do that, there's no way Watkins doesn't get at least one of them. And like I say, I hadn't considered looking at 2 or more. So yeah, let's fill up Ollie Watkins. I think the only time he didn't score recently was when I did pick him to. So if he doesn't score again, Ollie, I apologise to you in advance. It's entirely my fault. And that brings us onto my lock, which is Aston Villa minus 1.5 goals. It's a big price for a lock. It's 5-3 plus 167. But I just don't see how Villa don't smash him. This is 3-4-5-0 here. So my lock will be Villa as well on the handicap, Baz.
Yeah, so Ollie Watkins for a hat trick is 28-1. For anyone that's interested in the ladder and that one up a bit further. You've caught me off guard with a lock because we don't normally put a lock out. But if you're doing it, then I'm going to go.
Do we not? That's because I'm in baseball form, Baz.
Baseball mode, aren't you?
Yeah,
anyway, I can put one out. Newcastle score over 1.5. Newcastle 2 or more goals. I can't remember the price now. I think it was 11-10. That would be the lock for me. Underdog for me, you're not going to like it, but the underdog is Palace to beat Leeds. So I'll take that. See where we go from there. What price for Palace? I took the both teams to score in that one. I feel
13-5 Palace plus 260.
Yeah. Plus 260. That's the underdog for me. Have you picked an underdog yourself?
I have. Yeah, I put a Brighton 13-5 plus 170 for Brighton. I'm just not having Tottenham. Like I'm like I said, this is the worst possible matchup of styles for them. So I'll take Brighton. My parlay is going to sort of fly in the face of yours because I've stuck Leeds in there. I've got Leeds, Villa, Arsenal. It's a money line parlay, dead straightforward, paying just a little bit under 7-1 plus 683. So I'm all right with that. Although, like I say, it's not for you because you've stuck Palace in. But what did you get to?
So the accumulator or parlay for the American audience is team goals for me. So Newcastle to score 2 or more again. I seem to be putting them in everything here, don't I? If Newcastle don't score 2 or more.
What a homer, Baz. You'll be driving people away with all your Newcastle chat.
I've very rarely backed Newcastle with any confidence lately, but I think we can do so rightfully at the moment. So team goals treble. Newcastle to score 2 or more. Arsenal to score 2 or more. And City to score 3 or more. It comes in just over 7-1, 7.5-1 plus 750. So nice. Newcastle over 1.5 team total, Arsenal over 1.5 team total, and City over 2.5 team total.
Well done. You do like your team total, like as far as I can. It's one of the things that doesn't get on my radar as often as it should. I'm going to have to.
Disappointingly, I put one out. I put one on, through the week. Didn't put it out in here, unfortunately, but it was Brighton, Villa, and Leeds and the Tuesday night games, and that hit at around 6 or 7-1. And I was kicking myself because I didn't put it out. That my accumulator went down with a bloody Brighton game, didn't I? But team goals is something that's done well for me, so I'm going to keep riding that. We've had a couple of winners from the team goal trebles over the season. Let's hope we get another one this weekend.
Anything else you want to tell the people about, Baz, before we crack on?
Not today. I think we've taken up enough of the people's time. We've gone over the hour, with an hour and 4.
Yeah.
It's good to see a couple of new names in the chat. As I say, anyone who is watching on YouTube, keep coming back live if you can. We're normally 10 o'clock Sunday night. 8:30 on a Thursday night. And it's good to have a little bit of interaction. We are just building it. We're new to YouTube, so we're building it. And the more people that can keep coming back, the better. But keep hitting the like button and the subscribe button, because that'll help us show up on more people's feeds. More people will find us. So yeah, cheers for those who have joined in. And as I say, if you're watching on YouTube over the next few days, just hit the like. Much appreciated. And same on Spotify and Apple. Keep giving us those reviews.
Yeah, and with Baz saying 10 o'clock on Sunday, that'll be baseball time, Baz, so we'll be going about 8:30 again. So be a little bit earlier on Sunday. That's news to you, isn't it? You see, a little bit. Thank you very much, Slick Rick. Enjoying Baz's team totals play in the comments there. Right, thanks everyone. Appreciate listening. Good luck if you've had a golf bet. Enjoy all your punts then. Good luck with all your football bets. Like I say, we'll be back. And we do schedule these on YouTube, so if the time is a movable feast, if you get across to or stick your notifications on, you'll see what time that we are scheduled for on YouTube. But until Sunday, good luck with your Prem weekend, and we'll see you down the road. Cheers.